I kind of want to start out with the Texas Senate primary.
Yeah.
Big news in the last couple of days.
Yeah, the primaries really feel like they're heating up, which I think is the right time, or at least 26 feels like it's turning on, right? We had the Texas primaries this morning. We saw Brad Landner. Brad is running against Dan Goldman.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Texas.
Well, up until now, we've had a Tallarico Allred matchup, which Colin Allred is a former member of Congress, and Tallarico is in the state legislature in Texas. And Tallarico was sort of the dark horse, but came out of nowhere and was leading the pack. Out of people who knew both candidates and could identify them, he had like a 50-point lead. So everything was pointing to Tallarico winning the primary. And so Allred dropped out. But that was timed with the entrance of Jasmine Crockett into the race right before the filing deadline.
Yeah, it was a crazy 48 hours.
Yeah.
I think on Sunday we woke up and saw the Colin news, and then cut to Monday at 4 or 5 p.m. East Coast time, and Rep. Jasmine Crockett was in the race.
What are your thoughts on Jasmine getting into the race?
I think that it's actually very exciting and engaging to have two great candidates in a state like Texas, where we've been starved for energy or hope or excitement, to be in a healthy, competitive primary. I think that's good for the party. I think it's good for the movement. I think it's good for engagement. Do I still want to win that Senate seat in Texas? Yes. Am I worried that a competitive primary could damage us in the general? Slightly, yes. So I have mixed emotions, where I am really excited that we have these two excellent candidates, and I think they're excellent for different reasons. So the under-over is like, I'm excited, I'm happy that people are talking about it, people are engaged about it, people have opinions about it, but I also want to make sure that everyone who is speaking up and out for their candidates right now will also vote for whoever wins the primary.
Yeah, in some ways I do think more is more. It's great to have more Democrats out there who show different sides of what being a Democrat can look like, and Jasmine Crockett has certainly built a profile for herself, especially in Trump 2.0, in a way that can drive more attention to the race. As a money guy, I definitely worry about how much money is going to get spent in that primary, for sure. I think the general conventional wisdom would say Jasmine Crockett is much less electable in a general, that she's going to be less competitive in the general election if she wins the primary. That's like what conventional political analysis would tell us. I think that there's a lot of people theorizing that we're in the upside down and we need like radically different candidates to be like moving people and shifting what the actual like winning coalition looks like. So if you buy into that, then I can see why Crockett is a compelling candidate. She can drive the news cycle. She is incredibly adept at online communication and has really good relationships with lots of creators and sort of influencers in the space in a way that can, like we said, drive a narrative and tell her story. But her ideological alignment would probably be seen as more out of step with a general electorate in Texas.
Right. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I hear you on the money point. I'm sure millions of dollars will be flooding into the state of Texas.
Yeah, but I think that we also have to acknowledge part of the situation that created this was the Texas gerrymander and Republicans drawing Jasmine Crockett
her seat's
out of her district intentionally. So that pushed her into the Senate race, which pushed Allred out, which pushed Allred in to the Texas 33rd congressional district, where he's running against Julie Johnson, a Democratic incumbent, the only out lesbian representing any district in the South.
Yeah.
And now he's going to go spend the millions and millions of dollars that he raised for the Senate primary against a fellow Democrat, which I've been vocally opposed to, telling people they should go get refunds on their campaign donations if they gave to him. Because, Republicans started it, but we're definitely in a worse position overall for the musical chairs that we've had to play in Texas.
Yeah. And of course, the concern is then if we're doing this like musical chairs competitive primary, then we then lose the general.
But we also just have to say before we move on that Republicans have their own shit show to deal with in their primary as well, where they have John Cornyn, who's like a 75-year incumbent, who God knows when he was first elected.
Literally, when I was writing a brief or something, I instinctively was like, Ted Cruz. And then I was like, wait, this isn't Ted Cruz.
Cornyn.
And then I was like, I literally thought that, sorry, God, I thought he was no longer with us.
It's wild. So he's running for re-election, which is bonkers. And then he's facing Ken Paxton, who's the state's attorney general, who's a whole bag of nutso.
Yeah.
Like absolutely insane, was impeached by his own Republican legislature in Texas and has had all these affairs and is just like a scandal-plagued disaster who actually could make the general competitive if he wins the primary. And he's currently been leading Cornyn. And then this other guy, Wesley Hunt, also jumped in, making it a 3-way primary on the Republican side. So overall, Texas is like messy, messy, messy. Our dream scenario, just in terms of flipping the seat, would be a Tallarico-Paxton matchup from my perspective and from the data that I have seen.
Yeah.
Reach is an understatement. It's still extremely unlikely, but that seems like the only possible scenario.
I believe.